let's continue with some more controls. So before going to controls, let us see the question which Geeta was asking in last class, how to create a how to create like link. So anyways, we have seen something like when you click on button or something, right? When we went to some other activity, or we did some. So let us see how we can create a link in order to open some web pages. So we'll see now. Let me create a new activity over here. So let me call it as maybe link activity. So here, so first let us take one example as, let me drag and drop one text view here. So let's go and let's drag one more text view. Okay, first let us see one. So let me call it as text view some web maybe. And let me call it as some text, but we'll be changing this text anyways. Now, the first thing what we have to understand here is the activity, right, which you can see in Android, right, it also supports HTML rendering, right? So, which means you can actually write the complete HTML code which will be rendered automatically in your Android, right? And way to write is like, you have to convert it into the string format. So if you guys have worked in servlets, right, if you want to send a response from servlet, right, using some send response or something, right, then what we will do, you will be writing a complete page in string form, HTML form, right, and then you will be rendering in a page, right. The same pattern you can also do it here, right, on a normal text view. You just have to make that in a simple text view, and it will actually convert the whole HTML into a rendered form of your UI page, right. We'll see that part in here, right. Now this is my text view, which is text view web. So what I want to do here is, when I run this, right, I want to go to some web page which is like a link, right. Let me show you how we can actually create a link, right. So let me go to the class, link activity class, and here I want to create, first we'll have to get the text view. Let me get the text view, lobj txt view is equal to, you have find view by id, you have r dot id dot text view, you have web, right. So let me take this web text view, and here let me typecast to text view, right? And now, so these are the steps which you have to do. So this is a normal text view, right. So when you run this, right, let me run it, we'll see what exactly happens here. So normally text view is something which doesn't give you any action as such. Text view is like, normal label which we have in our web pages or desktop applications or any application you have. Label doesn't have any actions to do, right. But here you can use this text view in different ways, right. So as of now we have just seen text view to just show the data, like you are in second page or something, right. So now oh sorry, I have to link it to main activity, right. So link activity, so I just I have to mention it in main activity, right, because it will actually revert that activity. Okay, now you can see it's a very simple text view. When I click on this, right, I'm trying to click on this, nothing will happen. Why? Because it's a simple rendered label type of view here. That's why you won't get any action as such unless you work on it, right? So that is a very simple text view we have. Now how can we make it a link, right? We'll see how to do that. Now this is my text view which I've taken. So first thing is, we have to make it something like, it should accept an event, right? Which means if it has to accept an event, you have to, make it as a clickable text view. So you have one internal method of text view called set link. You have set. You have something called. We were talking about clickable. Yes, you have something of set clickable, right? If you make it true, right, so it will actually make the text view to a clickable form. Immediately you have to mention which method you want to mount on click, right? So that is one thing which you have to mention as soon as you actually make it clickable, because until unless you mention which link path you want to set, right, it can behave in some other way. Let me set this, and this movement is something, so I want to make it as a link mount method movement dot, let's say, get instance. So this is a standard thing which I want to make a text view to a link to access a web, right? So we'll have to do clickable, and on click I want to actually go for some method, right? Now this will make your text view a clickable thing. Now when you click on your text view, what should happen? So that thing you have to write it here. Now let me make a simple HTML thing. Yes, let me call it as data is equal to this. So now so let's write a simple HTML like anchor element, right? So which will take you to some page. You have an anchor element here. So in between, let's say I'm just giving let's say go to Google something, right? So in href you have a method called href, right? So hypertext reference. So here I'm going to give the URL, which is http. You have www.google.com, right? So I've just made a simple HTML pattern here, this data, and now we have to set this to our text, which is a text view, right? So whatever you can see in between your anchor element, right, is the one which will be displayed on a page, or here in this case on an activity, right? You will see this part on an activity. And when you click on this, what happens? It will actually open up your page, which is this. You can give any page as such. If you have a website for which you have a mobile app, right? So if anyone want to browse on website, you can just give a link, go to my site, let us say. You just say, go to my site, right? So when they click on this, you will actually open the browser-enabled solution of your business solution, right? So that you can do. Now here. Yeah.
So we can include any HTML tags over here.
You can include, yes, you can include anything. I'll show you that. You can include anything.
Okay.
Right? Okay, first understand this one. Yeah. You can actually write a complete table HTML or div HTML, anything. It will render. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So here, once you are done with this, then you have to set this text to text view. Now in order to set, you have one thing. The first thing what you have to do is, anyways, for setting the text, you have set text, and inside, so before assigning the data directly to text view, right, you have to access, or you have to convert this text view to HTML mode. So you have a direct HTML class inside of activity. Click on dot, you have something called from HTML source, and source will be the data which we are passing. So this is a pattern which will actually convert the data. Like if you directly give this, right, I'll show you what happens when I directly give this data directly to text, right? And now it is actually converting this to HTML form, which means whenever I actually click on this, right, this anchor element will actually act as a HTML element, right? And it will actually take the hypertext reference and it will go to the site, right? So let me just open up that. Let us run this. Again, it all depends on your activity anyways. The recent one is HTML5, right? So maybe some components of HTML5 may not, but most of the things will be working on HTML5, okay? Now you can see the link became, the text view became a link, right? Now when I click on this link, right, you can see it will actually open up a browser, and it is going to the link whatever we gave. You can see the Google bot open. Now how it opened in my emulator is, my emulator is directly in the network in between is directly connected to my LAN, right? So that's why you can actually browse on this, right? So that is why now this is not an activity, guys, this is a browser. When I click on back right now, it will be closed and it will actually, you go to the your activity. This is your activity, right? So that is what happens over here, right? Now, if you don't give this HTML, right, what happens? Let me just show you that. Let me run this. I mean, most probably, like if you are developing an app, so they will be giving some reference sites. Then obviously you'll have to use these type of links to actually give your source links, source site links as such. Okay. So it will open up this, and you can see it is actually showing the complete, right? The rendering is not being done. So until unless you actually make it HTML, right? Then unless you take, right? Otherwise it will just print as a normal data.
So that one is exactly taking the HTML and converting into
exactly.
I mean,
it is actually rendering the HTML. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to actually make more of this, right? So let us just italicize this. I'll show you whether it is being applied or not, right?
You can do any font changes and whatever you want, you can do that.
You can do anything you want, yes. Only thing is your Android should support that. That's it.
Okay.
You know, I mean, even the browser, right? If you're actually making any browser, right? Let us say you're developing any website in HTML5, right? And someone is using IE7, right? You may not see the complete site which you are developing in HTML5 because IE7 is not compatible with HTML5, right? Some components of site may not be rendered completely. The same thing happens even in an activity.
The HTML package is already there in Android software, or we have to install any?
No. With Android you will get an HTML internal. So it is an Android app itself, API as such.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It will be upgraded once you upgrade your Android. Even HTML render will be upgraded automatically. You don't have to do anything.
You are saying that in our emulator we can't directly to Google page user.
I'm sorry. What is that, Geeta?
I mean, you said that this is the Google page which you went through this Anchor. You said your laptop is connected to some network or something. You said.
No, that network is internet. I mean LAN internet. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the LAN. I mean it's internet, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Fine. So we just made it italicized. Let us see whether it is rendered or not. So see, if it is not happening in emulator, right, don't worry about that because emulator will have a very later version of Android, right? It will actually show you the data, what exactly, the actual task you can see. But the main testing, everything will be done on direct phone itself, always, right? When you are working for a corporate, right, no testing will be done on emulator. Only few things like maybe SID testing, which is system integration. See, you can see everything when detail says, right? You can see there it is in italicized. So yes, you can actually do something which will make this happen. Okay? So in this way, when I click on this, now it will open up your browser. So this is the first way how you can actually make your your text view a hyperlink to visit a page. Any doubts in this, guys? Any doubts in the HTML part? You can actually write anything which. Even the font. As
Srinath, can you tell me just one word?
Sorry?
Can you explain me in XML how you, what is the attribute of this thing?
This HTML you mean?
Yeah. Not HTML. The connecting, connecting to web.
Okay, this one you mean, this one?
No, you have given some set movement method, all these things.
Okay, this one. Okay, this. Okay. No, this is not actually making it connect to web. No, this is not the one. So this will actually convert your text view to clickable mode.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because normally whenever we create a text view, right, it is not in a click mode, right? It is a normal label. In order to make it a clickable thing, right, you have to actually add these two lines so that it will actually take up a click. Now, how it is moving to web is completely taken care by this. Our Android, whenever you convert this, right, it knows that, okay, whenever you click on this, it will actually take you to, it is an anchor element, that's why it will take you to the corresponding link you are giving.
Yeah, these things I got, and in XML also you have given some attribute called web.
No, this is a name actually. This is an ID. No, this is just an ID.
Okay, fine. That's good. Sorry.
No, just wanted to show you that, it's just a name actually.
Okay, I didn't see that thing actually. I have seen only web, and I thought some attribute is there, like Android web or something.
No,
Okay,
it's
fine.
just a naming convention I just gave so that you can really get it. No issues.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, fine. So this is how we can actually do browsing to the web actually. Now,
I have a question.
sure, Nabil.
The, the part you were explaining about when you change
Can you just be a bit loud, Nabil? I can't hear your voice clearly. Can you just repeat that?
the part where you explain when you change the tab or the go button clickable, right? The movement part, the movement method. So it is a set, it is a standard, right? Whenever we need to use need to make any button clickable, we will just use these two lines.
Any button or text view you mean?
And text view, right? Whenever we want to make it clickable.
Yes. Button anyways it will be by default attribute of button will be clickable. But if you want to make a text view clickable, then you have to apply these two lines. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the things will be in links.
Exactly. Most of the things, even if you take even Android, right? Most of the things you will have to use bigger image buttons. Why? Because as I said, it should be touchable, right? Your thumb should reach that. If you use this type of links, what happens is the guy should have to zoom it and click on it.
Right.
So no one will like that actually. So that's why don't ever create any links as such. Always go for some beautiful button so that you can just click on that and move to the activity. Fine.
Okay. Shrinath, one more thing.
Yeah, we'll see one more text view. I mean, how to move from one activity to other activity. Let's see that part, right? So this is something most of the times you'll be using these links in order to, it's an Android, like culture that links will be used to browse on web, and if you want to move across the activity site, you'll be using different controls rather than links, because small links which need zoom are not preferred as such. But let me just show you how we can actually create a text view. On click of that, how we can actually move from one activity to other activity. Fine.
Yeah.
Now, so I can use the same code as such, but let me just take one more text view, and we will see what actually happens. Let me just take this. Fine. So in this text view, let me just give the name as text view some intern, right? And let me give it as go to activity something. Go to link. Now here again, let me write a separate piece of code for that. So let me take a text view first. Let me make it as a T2 something is equal to find me by ID. We have r.id dot text view intern. Add a widget. Now after this, first thing what we have to do, we have to convert this to clickable, right? So let me just
What is this text view intern?
no, I've just taken a separate text view.
Okay. I was fully confused today.
No, one sec. Let me just TXT2. Let me just give some meaningful name. I don't want to confuse you guys. TXT.
No, actually, I missed one class, no, so I was thinking that you have said some more things and I missed those. Like,
No. It's it was previous class was completely a controls actually. Yeah. There was no.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah. So you have text2 dot. Let us just make first let us set clickable as true, and then let's go to text2 dot. You have to set movement method to. Let me make it as link movement method again. Dot get instance, and then so here once you are done with this, now it's a clickable thing. Now how to handle click is again the same. Even your text view will have an internal listeners as such, right, where you can actually handle the event delegation model. So which is t2 dot, we have something called set on click listener, right, where we'll be checking new view dot on click listener. Now this is a listener which we'll be using. Let me just make it as import Android view and all. Now here let us write a activity thing. Now let me just take up one more activity here, so that we'll move to that activity. Android activity. Next, let me call it as link to activity. Finish. So this is the link to activity. Go back. Just say this is. So we are interested in going to that activity, right? So let us create an intent now, which is an intent LOBJ. So you always see why I am using LOBJ and all, right? Now this is a naming convention of this camel case in the naming convention. L is there are some divisions which I always use to the variables. L is nothing but local. OBJ is nothing but object of the thing here. That is what I always use. LOBJ is nothing but local variable of object type and the purpose of that variable. So it's a small naming conventions, and we follow the same nomenclature or naming convention in Java.
I was always thinking why you are using this LOBJ.
Yeah. It's I'm used to that actually. That's why you can see LSTR. I use LSTR because local strings, the name purpose is data. That is
always better to use the convention.
Always use convention. That is the best. That's a very good way of programming, right? Yeah. Always try to use. Sometimes wherever it is not needed, I'll just take something T2 like. This is a very bad way of coding actually. Never ever give nomenclature name which is not at all understandable, right? Okay. Now you can see that I took web. Text view web, right, which means you can directly say that okay, this text view is used to move to some web or do something related to web, right? In the same way,
you can continue the same way. I will.
No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm not taking. I have a point taken. No issues. So let me just say link activity dot this, comma link to activity dot class. Fine, and then start activity of intent. Now this will take you to the next activity as such. Now it will actually show you the normal because this text view is a normal text view. We are not giving any HTML format for this, right? So that's why it will actually show you the normal way of thing. Now let me just change the view. First let us run this and then we'll apply some HTML for that. You don't need any HTML as such. You can just write a simple way of text view. On click of that will be moving to text activity. So let me run this. So you have, okay, you go to my site, will open that. Now you can see it is not showing anything here, but when I click on this, right, Now you can see it actually will take you to the next next activity. But if you see this text view, right, no one will actually understand, okay, I have to click over here, right? Obviously, if you have some format like, some underlining on that or some way, you'll feel that, okay, this is a link. Now that part of thing, you can actually make it as a style, fine? Or what you can do is, we can actually set the text as HTML. Let me just show you that. Let us see whether it accepts the text or not. Let me make it as lstr t2 data is equal to now here let me create a HTML thing like italicized, and let us take it as underline HTML element. So let me call it as go to link to something. So this is my simple HTML. Now let us apply that to set text of HTML dot from HTML source of t2 data. Right? A simple one which should show it as a link. Let us run that. Now you can see, right? It's something. It's better than the previous one. Now it feels that okay, this is something which is something. Right? Now when you click on this, it will go to that. Right? And in the same way, if you want the color and all, right, you can actually apply that part. But obviously, then you will have to actually write a HTML code for that. Right? It's a very simple. You can actually apply color directly for this maybe. So let me just apply something. Style is equal to. You have color. Now let me take it as blue. I'm just writing something. It may be wrong because the attributes, you don't have to actually remember attribute, right? Because you have editors which will help you out with attributes. Let us see whether it applies it or not. Okay, it didn't. No worries. But you can actually write that. Okay. Yeah. So that's how you can actually go ahead. Okay. So you can actually go. Now this is a key for you guys. Now you can actually go ahead with HTML. Any HTML you want to render. Right? It will actually give up a whole table, or you can actually create. Now whenever you are getting any data from anything, right? You don't have to rely on grid view or anything, right? You can actually create your own HTML and show it on a activity, right? That will be the best part, right? If you want to show multiple data, which you can actually handle on that, right? So this is how you can actually create a links in activity using the text view. Fine. So any doubts in this?
Fine. If you have the multiple line of data in text view, do we have a scroll bar here?
Yeah. If you give multiple, text views, more text views, right? Obviously, it will actually give you a scroll bar, or you will have to actually drag it up.
No, you say like in one text view you can bring the HTML data. So means if you bring the HTML data, maybe it's very long, So
it will give you after rendering part, right? See that scroll bar will be a scroll bar of HTML itself. HTML itself will have a scroll bar, right? Because if data goes beyond the pixels which you are giving, right? Obviously, HTML will create a right. It will actually create a scroll bar for you. That will be rendered. Okay, you guys can actually try it out. Okay. If you don't get, let me help you out with that. Okay.
Sorry, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Now let's move on to the next control. So let us see the next one, which is let's check out the checkbox one. New other next. Let me click on next and let me just say check box activity. Okay. So let's go back to the graphical layout here. Now checkbox is again something which is straightforward here, right? There is not like the same checkbox which we used to see in our either AWT or in right? The HTML checkboxes. So, but let us see what exactly we can find. So, this is a checkbox control. You have inform widgets, checkbox widgets as such, right? So, in this checkbox, again you have the same attributes. Let me just take it as chk. Let me just say item 1, right? So let me make it as something item, a simple thing I have used, right? Now here, let me take one more button here. Because when we are talking about checkboxes, right? Two things can be, two things you may need. First thing is you just want to know whether this checkbox is checked or not, right? Whether this is selected or not. Second thing is on the selection of this checkbox, you want to do something. Two things, right? So first thing, let us see let's just forget about this button. First, let us see when you check on this, what can be done, right? So let's go back to the class here. Try catch. Now here, let us get the checkbox, right, which is a widget. Let me call it as LOBJ item is equal to, you have find view by ID r dot id dot, you have chk item 1, right? So this is our cast. This is our checkbox, and now you have checkbox item dot set on check change listener. You have check change listener new on check change listener. Now here it will give you whether the checkbox is checked or not, right? So let me import the view compound button, right? Now this is checked will give you whether it is checked or not, right? So now let me just check this, which is checked, and let us see. So this, we have already seen this part, the same listener on toggle button, right? So I have shown you that instead of using toggle button, why can't go to checkbox? But it all depends on toggle button is something which user may not want to directly click on that and leave it. But here it's a small control, right? Checkbox. So that's the main difference. So whatever you want, you can actually check on that. So let us make a toast here. Dot make text of application context. Text will be like true in case of if it is checked, and toast dot make it as for short, right? Dot short. And if it is not checked, let us make one more toast here. Get application context, and let me call it as false. Dot short. Not short. So we have taken two cases. Anyways, this is the first way which you may need. So on click on check off something. If you want to do some task, right, you can actually handle the task in this way. I'm just showing you some whether it is checked or not. If you may need to do something else, right, you can actually put on your own logic of code. Now let me run this. So this starting activity. So it will show you. Oh, sorry. I have to change it in my main activity, right?
Alright. Checkbox.
Checkbox. Perfect. Checkbox activity. Close it. Name again and run this.
Srinath, I had a question.
Yeah, Geeta?
Yeah, I just I want to remove the title checkbox activity from some of the activity screens, some of my screens. Is it to be done from manifest or something? Manifest,
Which
right?
title? You mean this one?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I
you
just
can
want
remove-
my whole activity to be the whole screen. Not. I don't even want the title for other
Yeah, then
activities.
yes, you can remove from either your hyperlink text. I mean the string attribute, which is
Uh-huh.
right. You
Right.
can remove from there. It will be removed. Right.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah. So when I check on this, yes, go ahead. Is that the question?
Sorry. Nothing to change from manifest file for that.
See, for manifest file, it will actually give you the whole of activity, right? But attributes and everything will be there in either in string files, or some properties will also be there in your manifest also. If you remove from manifest, all the things will be removed anyways. You can actually make it a big one. You can do that.
Okay.
Always try for creating full screen activity. You have one full screen activity, right?
Oh yes, we have one
Yes,
post-
try for that. Okay, try that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. If you remove from strings, it only removes the checkbox activity name only. What about the Android symbol and all? I mean, the icon?
This icon.
Yes.
Yeah, you can remove everything from manifest file itself. So if you go to manifest file, right? So you have something called icon,
User
Label
user
icon.
icon is.
right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can actually remove that.
The
one.
whole screen.
Yes. No. Whole screen. No, you see, there are two things. Whole screen in the sense, if you don't want to see even this part, right?
Right.
That is whole screen you are talking about. Then you can actually
Yeah.
create a
No. I'm just asking about this Soho.
yes. You can do that.
icon.
Yes, you can do that with that. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that. Everything is, can be handleable actually. But if you want, sometimes you may need, see, if you take an example of video, right? Video should be full screen video, right? So
Right.
even the video is an activity actually. It's a separate activity. Right? That activity should cover all the screen, which means it's a full screen activity on which
Right.
video is rendered. Right? You can create a full screen activity. Right? We'll see. We'll also create full screen activity and we'll see how it works. Right? Don't worry about that.
Yep.
Now this is how the
Thank you.
checkbox works. So when I uncheck this, it will be false. Check it up, it will be true again. Now you can actually do some task on this. Right? Now this is one way that how you may want to get the result of items. Right? And other way is you may have a couple of checkboxes in your like as I was saying. Let us say this is a karting sample again. So let me just keep this item aside. Let me just get few things again. I always show this example so that it will be very useful. Let me just take up 3 things. I think Geeta, we have done this, right?
Yeah,
So-
I've done with Ray.
Yeah, let me just take it as CHK something. Let us say this is a karting site where I'm taking CHK pen. So this first item is to collect a pen, and next one is some CHK, something cookies. Let me call it a cookie something. And let's say it's CHK something called hold on. We have just done. So it's a simple karting thing which you are seeing. So CHK pen, you have to make it over here below that, and CHK cookies is left of the surface. Right, now you can see we have just 3 different things we have. Right? Let me just make it as align left. So pen is, let me make it as align center horizontal and align left of this one. Check item. Okay, item was here, that's what it is. Let me remove this, you don't need that anyways. Perfect. Yeah. So anyways, if you remove this, will not be there anyway. So we'll just create this check item to remove this part. Right. Anyways, it is recorded. Right? You can just set up. Right. Now, so we think about this a simple karting site where you have few things to select. And when you click on add, right, you want to actually show this data, whatever you have selected, right, as an activity, or you want to go to the next activity, show the pricing and all, right? Now let's see how we can actually do that part. Again here, let us take an example of, okay, whatever we are selecting, you want to send those things to the next activity and calculate the total items you have got and then the maximum price, right? So let's do that. So let me take a button here. So let's go back. Let me call it as BTN shop. Just say name as shop. Now it's a very simple activity I've created. Let's go back to the class. Now here, so what we have to do on button click, right? We have to just create a button click. So on button click, whatever are selected, we just want to show that, okay, these are the things selected, and these are total price being price of your selection. Let's do in the same activity so that you can actually use the same logic to send the data to other activity. So first let us take a button LOPJ BTN shop is equal to find view by ID of r dot id dot we have BTN shop, add casting, and then let's say, so in this case let us take an example of implementing the on-click listener here. So implements on-click listener and just say LOPJ button dot set on-click listener of this, right? And then just import I'm just meeting up you all guys. Just ping me if you have any questions, guys. Okay. So here, let me just import implement the unimplemented methods. Okay. So which will be our on click. Okay. Now here, what I've made as I click on click using this. So this will actually trigger this method whenever the thing is clicked. Now here, what we have to get here is, so whatever data is in here, right, which is checkbox, we'll be taking out that. Let me just create a checkbox widget instance, and let me call it as C or let me call it as chk pen is equal to find v by id. We have r dot id dot chk pen, right, and some add casting. Same way, take your checkbox of LOPJ, what was the next one? Mobile. Find v by id, you have r dot id dot, you have chk mobile. Same way, checkbox LOPJ mobile case is equal to find v by id r dot id dot, you have chk the case, right? You have these many checkboxes. Now obviously if you want to check whether they are checked or not, then you have to go ahead with this. Now first let us take int, let's say LINT total price, right, is equal to 0 first, and let us take one string which says LSTR selected items. So we will show at the end what exactly are the selected items we have. Now let me just check the conditions, which is your LL checkpen dot is checked. If it is checked, this is a catchy point, right? So when we created on-click listener, right, we got a direct on-click on check change listener, right, which means whenever you change your check status, then it will be getting an event triggered, and to that event triggered you have a second argument called boolean, which will give you the actual status of checked or not, right? So let's take up that. So if it is checked, so if pen is checked, which means, let me take price as is equal to, let's say it's at 20 bucks, right? And let me just say string items is equal to pen semicolon 20 and a hyphen. So we'll just show okay what are the items we selected, and then if you have lobj mobile dot e selected, then you have lint total price plus is equal, let's say mobile is some, let's say some $400 around, right? And then you have lstr selected items plus is equal to, let's say buy colon 400. Right. In the same way, if you have keys dot e selected, then just say price plus is equal to, let's take it as some $40 around, and items plus is equal to, just say is equal to, and that's it. Right. So with this you have got the total price. So whatever we select with respect to that, we'll get the total price and the items. So let's make a toast. So first toast, let's make it as make text of application context, just say selected items plus lstr items. In the duration, let's make it as toast dot long dot show. Right. And once this is done, let's make one more toast dot make text application context, just say total price. And the duration, let's take it as toast dot long dot show. Right. So this is what we are in a simple program where with respect to the thing you have selected, you will actually get the details. So let me run this first once. Right, so when I click on directly shop, right, it will actually show that rate of nothing, right, and it will show price 0, fine, because nothing in it. So let's select only pen, click on shop, let's see, selected items pen, which is 20 rupees and total price is 400. So in the same way, select mobiles, everything, click on shop, you see selected items, okay, click on shop, come on, why is screen 20? So okay, nothing has been selected. Click on everything, toast is done, and click on shop here. It is screen only, I'm making it as plus here, select items plus here, maybe here you have to actually make it as, that's fine, concatenate that, right, just make this plus. Sometimes this plus may not work. Or you can directly use concat option. That's fine. We'll just use this concat because we have to add up 2 strings. So concat of this string. Right. So we have this. Okay, let us run this again. Okay, so let us select all now. Click on shop. Come on, man, why it is showing only pen here, total price 20.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay, we just missed one thing. It is checked. Thanks, Kita. Perfect. I just missed out in control space. Fine. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now it will give you complete. So if you just unselect directly, it should give the pen price perfect, right? And it should give you the total price as 60, right? So this way you can actually use your check boxes in two ways. So on check, you can actually create a direct text, how you can actually get that, right? And you can use this check boxes to only check, select your things, and then on click of something you can do something, right? So that is your checkbox part you have, right? Yeah, so that is your checkbox control for now. Now one more thing, when you click on add, right now, you may try this one, guys. So you can just use the same model, but when you click on shop, right, try to do one thing. Try to send the data whatever you have selected to the next activity. You can just try out this assignment maybe. When you click on shop, right, so whatever items you have selected here, right, should be sent to the next, should be sent with price. Use anything, use any logic of semicolon or split up or concat strings anyway. So I just want you to send the data from here to next activity. So in next activity, just show whatever are being selected, right? And with respect to the price, don't worry about quantity. Forget about quantity. Don't worry about that. Okay. So just give the price, and the last string should be a direct total price. Okay. Try out that. It will be fun. So with respect to whatever I select, just give some 5 to 6 items. Select something, click on shop, go there, and show that part. Right? It will be a simple activity.
What is the difference between is checked and is selected?
Sorry?
What is the difference between is checked and is selected?
Is selected, I think, will give you only whether that is focused or not. Is selected.
It's like a true or false button.
Yeah, it's like, if I click on this, right, which means it is selected. It is selected at that point. Now is selected you can actually use when the event triggers, right? But if you want to, when I click on shop, right, the event is changed. Now we are actually going to separate event model where we are actually checking this physical checkbox and checking whether this checkbox is true or not. So this true or not will give us only is checked method, right? Right. Is selected will give you whether that particular thing, whenever you click on that, right, click on that checkbox, on the checkbox event you can use is selected. Right. But don't worry, for checkbox you will be using, so many widgets, right, in Android will have duplicate methods. I have seen that, so many widgets will have duplicates, or so many widgets will have a common, internal methods. Because see, if you use TextView, right, TextView will have set on click. Even if you make it clickable or not, it doesn't matter. It will always have set on click. But if you don't make it clickable, there is no use of set on click. Am I right? So in that way it will be used. So that is for today which we have. So just try out this part. And one more question.